On the cross, Jesus is united to the many mothers and fathers who suffer as they see their children become victims of drug-induced euphoria. Today's generation is too focused on how they present themselves to others. They'll almost try anything to find the approval of their peers. And in this day and age, that may mean exposing themselves to the harmful and crippling effects of drugs.
As young people, many of us have very little knowledge about the true fact that drugs have on our mind and our body. Much of our knowledge only comes from commercials like this.
Oh, what's up, gangsta?
Hey man, what are you doing after school today?
Nothing. Why?
You want to go smoke grass with me in the parking lot?
Nah, man, I mowed my lawn yesterday.
What? No, I mean smoke pot.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
13% of people who start smoking pot as teenagers end up becoming dependent on it as adults. It also lowers your IQ by up to 8 points. Don't be like these kids here. Stay drug-free.
Drugs have been used in the United States since the mid-1800s as an influx of Chinese immigrants brought opium smoking to the American mainland. Decades later, in 1925, opium dens sprawled across New York City and resulted in 200,000 heroin addicts. Years later, in the 1930s and 40s, marijuana became used more prevalently for recreational use. Cocaine has been a prevalent drug for centuries throughout the world, but mainly in South America where it is grown. Primarily, Colombia, Bolivia, and Peru produce drugs that are smuggled through Mexico and the Caribbean and then into the United States where they are sold. The biggest issue we face in the modern day is illegal trafficking and drug cartels, which lead to countless drug-related crimes and has left thousands of innocent people dead.
Drug abuse, trafficking, and a reaction against it has claimed many lives. The ongoing Mexican drug war, fought between Mexico, the Sinaloa cartel, Los Zetas, and co-belligerents, have claimed the lives of tens of thousands each year since President Felipe Calderon declared the war in 2006. By the time Calderon's term ended in 2012, 60,000 people died and 27,000 were declared missing, including citizens caught in the cartel's path of destruction. In America, illegal drugs led to mass incarceration and millions of arrests, far more than any other crime combined.
Even on a small scale, drugs are still illegal. You can be arrested for even possession. Ever since the boom in trade and uses of drugs, the church has had to release official statements on their stance about these substances. Pope Francis himself has directly addressed the issue multiple times, saying no to all types of drugs.
Il flagello della droga continua ad imperversare in forme e dimensioni impressionanti, alimentato da un mercato turpe che scavalca confini nazionali e continentali. In tal modo continua a crescere il pericolo per i giovani e gli adolescenti. Di fronte a tale fenomeno sento il bisogno di manifestare il mio dolore e la mia preoccupazione. Un modo velato di arrendersi al fenomeno. Intendo ribadire quanto già detto in altre occasioni. No ad ogni tipo di droga.
Pope Francis often references as well a manual derived from the Office of Bishops and Pope John Paul II that states, drug use is linked to the search for pleasure. By giving priority to pleasure seeking, the drug user enters in conflict with the reality of everyday life and its obligations. The Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 2290 and 2291, directly states that the virtue of temperance disposes us to avoid every kind of excess, abuse of food, alcohol, tobacco, or medicine. Those incur grave guilt by drunkenness or a love of speed, endanger their own and others' safety on the road, at sea, or in the air. The use of drugs inflicts very grave damage on human health and life. Their use, except on strictly therapeutic grounds, is a grave offense. Production of and trafficking in drugs are scandalous practices. They constitute direct cooperation in evil, since they encourage people to practice gravely contrary to the moral law. So, any use of drugs, not for therapeutical reason, is a sin.
Why is using drugs a sin? We as human beings do not possess the right to harm our own bodies. Therefore, it is a sin to use drugs of any kind, including what the church refers to as soft drugs, such as nicotine or nitrous. However, in some situations, if drugs have been prescribed to you that will have a beneficial effect on the body, it is acceptable to use. This includes medicinal marijuana. Medicinal marijuana is like chemotherapy in a moral sense, in that it harms the body, but in the end, the results make the human body healthier.
The impact of drug abuse and dependence can be far-reaching, affecting almost every organ in the human body. Drug use can weaken the immune system and increase susceptibility to infections. It can cause cardiovascular conditions ranging from abnormal heart rate to heart attacks. Injected drugs can also lead to collapsed veins and infections of the blood vessel and heart valves. Drugs can cause nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. It can cause the liver to have to work harder, possibly causing significant damage or liver failure. It can cause seizures, strokes, and widespread brain damage that can impact all aspects of daily life. It can produce global body changes such as breast development in men, dramatic fluctuations in appetite, and increase in body temperature, which may impact a variety of health conditions.
This is Cincinnati, Ohio. It's considered to be the heroin capital of the United States. Just in the week of July 10th through 16th, 2017, there was 18 deaths, 180 overdoses, more than 200 heroin users in jail, and 15 babies born with heroin-related disabilities. What is truly devastating about this statistic is that most major cities, including Chicago and New York, are not far behind. The heroin epidemic is truly changing the culture of America as we know it.
What is so scary about drug use spreading across America is that it is invading our hometown.